Okay, in this last example, it says find the value of W and then X and round the lengths of the segments to the nearest tenth. Round angle measures to the nearest degree. So let's take a look at this first picture. I want you to just notice some things here. It looks like we've got two triangles to work with. We've got a yellow triangle and a green triangle. I'm noticing that this is an isosceles triangle, in which case if it's 43 degrees on the left, it would be 43 degrees on the right because the base angles are congruent in an isosceles triangle. I'm also noticing these rings at the top, meaning that this is an angle bisector going down the middle of this isosceles triangle. And you might recall from back last semester in chapter 5, we talked about an angle bisector in an isosceles triangle is also the perpendicular bisector of the base of that triangle. It's also a median, it's also an altitude, it's like everything in one when you have an isosceles or equilateral triangle with an angle bisector going down the middle like that. Ooh, which in that case, then we know if this is 7, then this is 7 as well. So there we go, W7. Then, let's see, we're looking for X. Let's look at this yellow triangle here. X would be called the opposite side and 7 would be called the adjacent side. So if let's see, tangent of the angle A equals opposite over adjacent. So that would be tangent of 43 degrees equals X over 7. Okay, so then I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to say, calculator, look up 43 degrees in the table that you have memorized, calculator. And so that's 0.325 is what tan 43 is. Dot, 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 of course. And then we're just going to throw that over 1 and cross multiply. And so 0.9325 times 7 equals X. So I'm getting what, 6.5? And that's it, because we already figured out W is 7. Okay, then let's look over here at part B. Again, let's study the picture for a minute and see what we even have to work with. It looks like, again, we have two triangles. Again, these two triangles together make a larger triangle. I'm going to start with the inner triangle, that yellow triangle, and solve for W. So this is opposite, this is adjacent, so tan A equals opposite over adjacent. So tan, 56 degrees equals 8 over W. Okay, so let's say, calculator, look up tan 56 in the table, and that comes up to 1.48 equals 8 over W. And then throw that over 1 and cross multiply. And so 8 equals 1.48 times W. So we know to get W by itself, we're going to have to do the opposite of multiply. We're going to divide both sides by that 1.48. Okay, and so this is another one of those where you're going to want to copy and paste that 1.48 in your calculator. Okay, so in my calculator, I've already got the tan 56. So I'm going to do 8 divided by, then I come up here and copy, I arrow on top of it and hit enter, and that pastes it into the line I'm working on, and then enter, and it tells me it's 5.396. And let's hold on to that number in our calculator. For now, we'll write down approximately, we'll squiggle this, 5.4 for W, but don't clear out your calculator just yet. Okay, now to do X, we've got a problem because this triangle here is not a right triangle. And remember, we can only use these strategies of Pythagorean theorem and 30, 60, 90 and 45, 45, 90 and tangent in right triangles. All the strategies we're learning in this chapter only work in right triangles. So our other strategy would be, what if we just use the whole big green triangle? And we use 34 degrees, in which case 8 would still be opposite, and this whole side would be adjacent, and this whole side is technically w plus x, but that feels really messy to me, so I'm just going to temporarily call this y. We can do that. We can just like make up a variable to represent that whole side. So in which case I've got tangent 34 degrees equals opposite, which would be what, 8 over adjacent, which we made up y. Okay, so in my calculator, tan 34 comes out to approximately 0.67 equals 8 over y, and cross multiply. So we get 8 equals 0.67 times y, and then I got to do the opposite to get y by itself, so I'm going to divide by that 0.67 number. And so y equals 8 divided by 0.67. So again, I'm going to use that copy and paste technique. 8 divided by 0.67, and it comes out to be 11.86. Okay, and I'm not going to round this time because, remember friends, y was some variable I made up. That's not an answer to my problem. What I'm looking for is x here. So we already know that w is 5.4, right? And so now we just have to find y. So if y is 11.86, I can just what? Subtract the 5.4 to find x? But here's the thing. Miss Benton won't let us ever round intermediate values in order to be as accurate as possible. And it may not matter on this problem, you do actually end up with the same answer, but on other problems in the future, it may matter. So it's important to use all the decimals. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that 11.86 number, and then I'm going to subtract the 5.39 number. That was what 5.4 was before we rounded it. So you can arrow all the way up and subtract that one, and I get 6.5 for my answer. Okay, I will be back tomorrow if you have any questions. In the meantime, your homework is Math Excel. Okay, bye.